Happy Monday, everyone out there in the You Are Worthy network. I honestly had to think about what day it was for a second. My weekends are just as busy, if not busier, than the weekdays. I was like, what is today? Oh, yeah, they all kind of run together. It is Monday. But I hope you guys had a fabulous weekend, and it's good to be with you all again. I'm excited to introduce you to our wonderful guest here in a second. But I want to, before I do that, just in case you have not seen it yet, I want to give you a little context here. I launched this wonderful group 7 months ago, and I really was just simply trying to get the word out to those struggling with mindset of feeling inadequate, lack of self-worth, lack of self-love, imposter syndrome, that whole umbrella of negativity because I lived that way for way, way, way. Did I say way? Too long. And God doesn't want us to live like that. And so I started this network 7 months ago, and we celebrated just a few days ago crossing over 10,000 members. I know who did that. I know, and you know who did that. The Lord did that, right? But I also wanted to say thank you to each one of you because you guys are sticking around and I appreciate that. I'm grateful for each one of you. Thank you for staying tuned in. Thank you for being a part of this network. There's some exciting things definitely coming very, very soon, but I just wanted to praise God and thank each one of you for being a part of this. With that said, I want to tell you about my friend. Terilee Harrison's mission is to help over 1 million people own, embrace, and speak their story. She is the founder of BRI Talks, bold, real, impactful, a TEDx-like experience for Christian business owners to share their story, cause, or method in the most impactful way. She is the co-founder of the BOS School, Business of Speaking. Terilee empowers speakers to gain credibility, develop diverse income streams, and let go of self-limiting beliefs. She is the global speaker and has written numerous books. She resides in Arlington, Texas, and serves professionals globally. Terilee, it's so good to see you. Welcome to the You Are Worthy Network.
I am so honored to be here. And I know you give credit for what's happening in your group to the right person, but just congratulations because sometimes, my friend, we have to show up for the things to happen, and you did, and you did. So what a beautiful platform, and thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, thank you for saying that. What's the saying? Guy can't use a parked car, right?
No way. Mm-mm. Nope.
Oh, well, one of the many tremendous blessings is knowing that watching this interview eventually will be people around the world, and as it reaches like you help people globally, this network is starting to reach a global impact. I know we just read you're in the Texas area. Tell us a little bit about your family.
Oh, I have the most amazing family, and I am so blessed. My husband Terry, so y'all get it, Terry and Terry. We've been married. It'll be 24 years this year. We are here in Arlington, Texas. We are in ministry, and so we go wherever God calls. This is our current season, but in these 24 years, 24-ish years, or whatever you want to say, we've been in Southern California, we've been in Singapore, and now we're here, and we don't know where we'll end up next, and we're so okay with that. We believe the best adventures are the what God has in store for us. So we'll have to watch over time and see where God takes us.
That's so true. I mean, when you're in the ministry, that is so true. I remember we served several years in Illinois,
Mm.
and we're from Tennessee, Nashville specifically. And when it looked like 6 years ago, maybe a little more, it looked like he was going to be moving us back to Tennessee. But then God has a sense of humor. He's like, no, I'm not taking you back to where you know everybody. I'm taking
Right.
you to a different part of the state where it's still like starting over, but you're still going to get to be back in the South where your heart really is. So it's
Yeah.
true. We just never know, do we?
That's so good. And if my kids were watching this, you asked about my family. Together, Terry and I have four children, and we have two beautiful granddaughters. We're up in Dallas, they're down in Houston, and so I wouldn't want anyone to say, "Well, she doesn't even mention us." Not that they watch all my stuff, Steve, but you never know. You never
You
know.
never know.
You never know. Mm-mm.
So let me camp on that for a second. So
Mm.
both kids are in Houston.
So our two older sons, one is in Houston that has the granddaughters. There's a son in Richmond, Virginia, a daughter in Southern California, and our youngest is here with us here in Dallas. Yeah.
Okay. And so okay, forgive me of my geography challenges for the state of Texas.
Go
I know
ahead. Oh,
Dallas a
that's
little
a
bit,
whole thing. We could talk about that the whole time.
but we won't.
Oh,
How
we
how
won't.
how far is the drive from Dallas to Houston to see
Three
the
and a half to
grandbabies?
4 hours. And after, as a Nana, after you've lived half a world away, that's easy peasy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's nothing for sure.
Yeah.
So there's so many different places we could discover today about you.
hmm
Um, but to get us started, I want to take you back in time. And
hmm
those that have watched the last few interviews, they're like, "Oh, Steve, are you going to do this again?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's fun." And it gets the wheels turning and it gets us
Mm,
to know you a little bit better when you were younger. I
mm,
want to take you back to senior year of high school.
mm, mm,
And let's say for the purpose of this illustration,
mhm,
just a couple of weeks left. You've
mm,
got the cap and the gown. Maybe you have
mhm,
the class ring.
mhm,
You are marking the days off old school way with the
mhm.
calendar, and you've got the dates circled. You don't strike me as the senior that bought the beach ball, but I don't know that. Um,
No.
so I want to get them into your mindset of do you know what's coming after the summer, after graduation?
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Are you can't wait to bust out of there? Senioritis to the max, or
Oh,
or
yeah.
is it a little bit fearful, unknown? Don't want to leave all my friends and all my teachers that I love so much.
Oh.
So which way would you lean?
Okay, so that's so interesting because that spring I actually like had a plan for school and I actually changed it maybe like March or April, believe it or not. However, the plan, um, I grew up in Northwest Ohio and I did not leave Northwest Ohio right away. The plan involved, I was well planned. I was a perfectionist. Like pretty not top 10 in my class, but pretty high up in my class, right? And I ended up changing my plans because I was just going to get like a certificate degree and I knew I wanted more. And so I was working, I had those back then. Wait, I don't think we're the same age. In those days, because you can see it's been a hot minute. I went to school part-time and worked part-time my senior year. Yeah. So I did that. And I was like gonna study like business and then they called it secretarial science. I don't know what they would call it now. And I decided I was like gonna go to an actual university and like get an actual business degree. And guess what? That company that I worked for was gonna pay for it.
Mm.
Okay, so I really wasn't leaving, but I was well planned. I was well planned, and because I'd done well, like my whole first year was covered, and so that was me. Like I wasn't gonna book and leave town. Um, but there's things about me like you couldn't tell. I was pretty, man. I was pretty, and you couldn't tell that anything was like going on the inside. But I really wasn't friends with the people in my high school class. I had some friends like outside from some of my like church activities and music activities and things, but I really didn't allow people to really get to know me because truth be told, although I really didn't understand it at the time, I just really didn't like myself inside. Mm. So here I am.
Hmm.
Yes, here I am. I don't usually talk about this particular window. Here I am, and everything looks awesome, and but the truth is, it really wasn't. Mm.
Okay. Well, let's see if that comes back up because
It might.
I'm interested.
Mhm.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you had the beach ball. It's,
No, no, no. But at my graduation, though, someone did sit down and like they played "Celebrate Good Times." Come on the piano, and we all just broke out in the middle of graduation unplanned. But I didn't have the beach ball. No.
I like the Cool in the Gang reference, so that's good.
Yeah, yeah,
So you go on to this school for business, right? You
yep,
saw it through,
yep,
and
yep,
then does
yep.
that parlay into a job in that field?
It did. It did. And you didn't even ask yet, but in the late 80s in Northwest Ohio, like if you weren't married by like your not early 20s, but mid 20s, you were like kind of considered an old maid.
Oh,
I
wow.
know, right? Like how times have changed. And so I did meet and marry someone, I think right before I turned 21. Mhm, mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, still in Northwest Ohio.
Oh, it's gonna really get juicy now if we keep going. Go ahead.
Well, well, okay. So we're married.
Ah,
You're working full time?
oh yeah. And like going to school. Like I was like slamming it.
Okay. Come on, keep telling us. Tell us. There's more here. I hear it.
Hmm. Um, mm, my faith was always really important to me. I was raised in a Christian home, and my faith was always important to me. And um, in the middle of this, I'm in my early 20s, right? And we thought, oh, hey, let's try and have a baby, um, and nothing happened for a while. And there's more to this, okay? But I at one point I had gone to the doctor, they'd done a test, and they're like, there is nothing we can do to help you. Now, things have advanced a lot since then, right? But they're like, there's nothing we can do to help you. And you don't feel good about yourself. You get this news, and what are you going to do with that? And I, I didn't do so well with that. My grief was hard. And you're working to be perfect on the outside, but yet it's the things are going. So I'm going to pause and let you take it where you want to go from there. Mhm.
Well, I'm so sorry, first of all.
Oh, thank you. Well, obviously,
Um,
though, it worked out. What did I told you though, I gave you guys that happy ending or the ending.
you did.
Yeah.
I relate to it a little bit because my wife had
Yes.
five
Yes.
miscarriages,
Yes.
and I'm thinking about the age.
Mhm.
You're saying early 20s. We were late 20s, mid to late 20s.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I know, obviously, as the woman,
Mhm.
she was grieving immensely.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
I wasn't mature enough
Hmm.
to help her, let alone process it myself.
Yeah.
So we don't have to stay here too long, but just like, how did you and your husband process that at the time?
Um, I don't know. We kind of just we knew at the time we thought we wanted kids, and so we just went and started looking for adoption options. Really, we didn't like wait,
Yeah,
and so just kept plowing through, if you will. That's just maybe that was part of the story of my life. Keep plowing through.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
When you don't have the tools that you get later in life, that's what you do is you plow through.
Yes, that's me. That was me.
Hmm.
Wanting to look good on the outside and everything's crushing on the inside.
So the part of your story that I don't know as well that I'm intrigued by is like, here we are, early mid 20s.
Hmm.
At somewhere in here, do you test the entrepreneur waters or does the ministry waters come
Oh,
first?
oh. I stayed in corporate for a while. Entrepreneurism came later. Um, but a lot of this has to do with the fact that I imploded at 24. Are you ready to head there?
Sure.
Okay. All right.
I mean, as long as you're comfortable with it.
I mean, I will, yes, actually, yes, sure. So, hmm. So I ended up, I say that over a 10-year period. So like starting there around my early 20s into my early 30s, I say that I ended up in relationships with three different men, and none of them were good for me. But my first husband actually, he was a pretty okay guy, really. Um, this other man that I met through my work, he Steve, okay, I grew up in Northwest Ohio. We had no culture. We were 40,000, please forgive me for saying this, but Caucasians, right? There was no culture.
Diversity.
I've lived, in Los Angeles and I've lived with the amazing Asians and in Singapore but I didn't know anything about anything. We had, yeah. And so I met a Hispanic guy who charmed the pants off me, and I ended up leaving my life, leaving my faith, leaving my husband, leaving everything I'd ever known at 24 and going to California to be with him.
Mm.
Mm, yeah. And when I got there, how do you think that went? Am I allowed to ask any questions?
I'm anticipating that the worst is yet to come.
Yeah, no bueno. It was just bad. It was just bad. He
Mm.
actually, to get to the crux, because there's just so much more on the positive side to say as we keep go deeper in the
Yeah.
conversation. Um, he was married to somebody at the same time. He knew he was luring me out there married to someone else. And when I got there, he was, a mean, angry, alcoholic, emotionally abusive, verbally abusive, not physically abusive, but just, and narcissistic. Like I could go on and on. And back then, like today, we just turn on Netflix and what are we going to watch? Back then, we had a movie of the week. I don't know if you remember those. Maybe some
Yeah.
of your listeners will. My life was like a movie of the week. Hmm.
Wow.
Hmm. Hmm. And I
That
am feeling so bad because someone had gone to I have amazing parents. My mom's passed away now, but I have amazing Christian parents. And their minister at the time had come and told me, if you leave this relationship, you will suffer the rest of your life. And I believed him, and I thought I was getting just exactly what I deserved.
oh my.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So you I've missed something in there somewhere. So you've left your first husband.
Yep.
This is the first of a couple of guys that doesn't go so well. By
Hmm.
the way, I want to say
Hmm.
physical abuse is horrific,
It is.
not acceptable.
Uh, yes, and I did not. That was the one thing. He was everything else but that. But everything
That's
else
that,
was big.
that's where I'm going though,
The
Terry Lee.
manipulation, right?
Is physical,
Yeah.
mental,
Yeah. Okay.
spiritual abuse,
Oh
in
yeah.
my opinion, is worse.
Oh yeah. I mean, okay. Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, they're different,
Absolutely.
but none of
Absolutely.
it's okay.
Absolutely. So I'm not going to tell you. You've only known me with white hair. Um, I credit. I always say I credit my white hair. It's half hereditary and half my daughter's dad stressing the crap out of me, if I can say that.
Mm,
Way back when. Yep. Yep. Just the living like this, right? Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So I've got to trust
Uh-huh.
that somewhere in this messy,
Mhm.
it's not even the middle, it's early on,
Mhm.
but somehow your faith
Mhm.
brings you through
It
or
is, but
brings you back. Would that be
it,
accurate?
yes, totally. But I think that we wouldn't do this discussion justice if I didn't take us one more place,
Sure.
if that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So hey, I'm in the middle of it, everybody. I did end up conceiving with I said much refer to my daughter's dad with the gentleman who was married at the same time he was married to me. My daughter's 32 today. She's the one who lives in Southern California. So what I say when I'm out and about speaking, Steve, is, and it's you know we're friends, but I will ask if any of the ladies have ever been mad at men, and I usually get a few in the crowd, and not everyone can relate at all. And if I would have been with Terry all these years, I probably also wouldn't. I'd be like, "I'm mad at men. What are you talking about?" But I mean, I had made all the choices, but I was pretty mad, and so I am so not proud of it, but I went out of the frying pan into the fire and I got involved in an affair with a married man. And that's just where I was. And I I'm not proud of it. I will say I've been the cheater, I've been cheated on, and I've been the other woman.
Mm.
Mm. And the ironic part is that um that I ended up he's the father of my son, my youngest son that's with us today in Texas. And I tell that depending on where you live in the country and in California, they tend to let a lot of things hang out. I don't know, can you relate to that? Like, I had met numerous women who had had babies with their married boyfriends, and I judged them so harshly. And you know what? We should. I think life anymore. I
Mm.
really believe life should be a no judgment zone, right?
Oh,
How,
yeah.
yeah. And so I decided to have that baby, and he's one of the greatest gifts in my life, and I'm so glad that I did. And what the some of the kicker for me is that my mom. mm, I could talk for 3 episodes about my mom and how what a wonderful mother she was to me, loving, kind, all the things. But she'd been sick my whole life. She was diabetic. She passed away at 58 years old. And I hate to say it, but it kind of took me losing her to face my own mortality to say to myself one day, what are you doing? You know better than this.
Wow.
And that's what, unfortunately, that is what it took. I know that if she was given a choice, she would have totally volunteered, right? If this is what's going to take, mm. But that's what brought me back to seeking God again and to looking at straightening up my life and making better choices and letting go of things. And it was actually when I was breaking up with that person that I got pregnant.
Mm.
So I'm 34, then still working corporate,
Hmm.
still working corporate. Oh, my perfectionism always paid off because I wasn't like a poor, desperate single mom. I had good jobs. I could take care of us. And I was walking wounded, right? But
Yeah.
but I could do the things. And so when my daughter was 8 years old, when I got pregnant and had my son, yeah, yeah.
So do you think that perfectionism, that striving
hmm
came from a place of emptiness?
Mm. If we can get to the crux, normally when I tell my story, I start at like 12. If we can get to the crux, because I know I can tell you exactly where it came from. And been able to talk about like, oh, I wasn't able to have kids. And the truth is um, I was born with an underdeveloped reproductive tract. By the time I started school, I'd already had some surgeries. And when I was in 6th grade, I had surgery. I'm going to get a little anatomical here with you, but I had surgery because I wasn't able to start my period on my own. I had to have surgery to be able to do that. And so that means when I'm in a group of women, I will say, that means I was born without a, and they will say uterus, vagina, and I'll say vagina. So so in my life back then at 12, I'm going to tell you exactly where the perfectionism comes from, is that we didn't have the internet. And I took on at 12, based on the information given to us, that I was different than all other girls.
Mm.
And my awesome parents wanted to protect me. They didn't want us talking about it. They didn't want people making fun of me. And so at 12, I took on that how I was made was so bad that I couldn't tell anybody.
Isn't that fascinating, Terilee? Like we hear about all the bad
Yeah.
that the internet can do, right?
Yeah.
But in your situation, it would have been helpful because
Yeah,
you would have
man.
seen that there's many others out there.
Yeah, we just didn't know.
Don't know what you don't know.
You're just
Yeah.
all alone. And so, oh, this is perfect segue. This is perfect segue. So years later, I was now in the entrepreneurial world, working with coaches, exploring personal and professional development. I was seeking, I was back in a relationship with God. I'm married to Terry. And let me say, I have left out, I've met and married Terry, who for many, many, many years was the only dad that my son had ever known. And, sometimes people step up like that in life. And
Hmm.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful that he did. But I was sitting with a coach, Steve, and he says to me one day, he says, "Hey, what do you want to talk about?" And I said, "Well, I'm disorganized." I said, if you walk in my house, it looks clean, but if you open any drawer, any cupboard, any closet, I said, poor Terry, he can't park in the garage. I go, the house is a disaster. That is a disaster. And he looked at me that day. I was 42, 30 years later. And he said, tell me about your childhood. And I was at the Starbucks and I sucked my breath in. I was like, oh, I was like, he thinks I was abused or something. And I said, I had a loving childhood, but I was sick a lot. I hadn't thought, we stuff this stuff
Hmm.
here at the people you talk to, we stuff this stuff and we don't deal, and it just gets bigger and worse and all the things. And that's the night I went to the internet and I didn't know what to put. And I typed in absence of vagina and was shocked when a bunch of things came up. Shocked that 1 in 5,000 women have this condition and nobody's talking about it.
1 in 5,000.
1 in 5,000. So it can involve, it's called MRKH syndrome, which is like the initials of the doctors that founded. And it can involve all the things I had. Like I had scoliosis surgery, I had some kidney abnormalities, and then this underdeveloped reproductive tract. And Steve, if I was sitting there holding baggage for so long, a lot of those baggages just instantly exploded at not being alone, right? But the more I read online, the more I realized I'd been a miracle the whole time, that whole 30 years, and I had no idea. Talk about unlovable, not okay to be me, not enough, like just thinking that you're junk, not able to tell anyone how you're made, right? And how that all played out in my life and my decisions, and masking it with all the things, the perfectionism and other things. And that's when I realized that these other women are born not just without the vagina, but they are born without a uterus, and that they will never start a period. And so you may see some of these women today, everybody, and that would be like the women who are getting the uterus transplants. It's a good example. Mhm. Mhm.
So is it this realization
Mhm.
that led you on a mission to help other women about shame? Is that where this
Yes.
came from?
You know
Tell us
what?
about that.
You know what? I knew that day. I've been I've been quiet for all that time. And I knew that day that I wanted to tell everybody what God did for me, because I believe when I was being made, that it's no mistake that of all the things that were going on in my body, that I was given just enough. My uterus isn't fully developed either, right? I'm telling you, like the day when they said we can't help you, it wasn't. But you know what? And despite how my children got here, let's be clear, despite they're miracles. They are
Hmm.
miracles.
Hmm.
And you don't find this in this, if it's a spectrum of the condition, you don't find this. And so yes, I wanted to scream from the rooftop, shout from the rooftops, and tell people what God, tell everyone what God had done for me. I thought, I can't like live my life and face him and be like, oh yeah, thanks a lot, and I didn't tell anyone. So
Hmm.
I went to go write my story, and I called a book coach. I'm gonna need to be okay. I'm gonna say this now. Got to get back to questions. Sorry.
No, you're good.
um, I called a book coach and said, I was so excited to talk, and I said, "This is my story. I just thought I would only tell my story." And she goes, "Oh, this is a book about shame." And I remember being like, "It is like sometimes we can't see the forest for the trees, right?"
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna pause. Sorry, I get excited.
No, I carry on with that. I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah, so I start looking up shame because I didn't know. And here I was, the global poster child, all those things I described to you, my decision making, all the things. That is what a life of shame looks like. And as I began researching it and realizing we all have it, like I could chuckle to myself in a good, like in an awesome way, that your purpose of the group for the people who are feeling all these things, this group's going to be humongous because everybody feels this way. There's not a single person that doesn't feel this way. But what a blessing it was to learn about shame and be able to educate on shame. And I just spoke this last weekend, sharing my testimony and talking about it. And someone shared, I can't relate to your specific story, but I can relate to all the feelings and to all the things that is so relatable, so needed, and so helpful. I was like, we really sometimes need to be encouraged in our calling, don't we?
And they don't have to relate to the specifics.
No, no.
It's the emotions in the battle that is shared.
Yes, totally, totally, totally.
S-
Shame comes from three places. Would it be okay with you if I took a minute
Yeah,
and just
please, please
dived in
do.
there? Yeah. So shame can come from awkward feelings about how we're made, and you understand mine, right?
Hmm.
But it can be anything. And the thing about shame is it's personal. So Steve, some people might say, "Oh, I'm too tall, I'm too short, I'm too fat, I'm too thin. I dyslexic, I can't read, I don't want anyone to know." Or, "Hey, I hate this scar. I wish that everybody couldn't see my scar," right? And the thing is I might say, "Well, you're not too tall, you're tall and beautiful," but it doesn't matter. It's what you think, right? The second place is the things that people have done to us. And whew, I had no idea really what goes on in the world and how rampant all abuse really is. And we talked about some of them. I never set out in my life to be lured from a perfectly pretty decent life to for that to happen. And and so there are those things, but there is the horrific physical abuse from young ages, and it, ooh, I'm here to say that if that has happened to you, some of you, if somebody said, "Tell me about your childhood" at a Starbucks, you wouldn't suck in and say, "He thinks I was abused." You would say, "Oh, he knows." Yeah. And I'm sorry. And I'm sorry about that. Yeah. And then the last place is just we take on shame, feeling bad about ourselves as a person, from the things we've done, and no, I'm not proud of the things I've done. No, but you know what? God can redeem and he can use anyone. But we need to allow him. We need to allow him to do that. So those are some of the ways that shame, the ways that we feel shame, and then what we do with it is just crazy sometimes.
So that first one was just the way we
Awkward feelings about how you're
about how
made.
we see ourselves, right?
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
Awkward feelings about how you're made. Yep. And do you know when I give some of those examples, random people come up to me and go, yes, I'm too tall. Yes, my skin. Like it's real.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Oh yeah. And even the most attractive, well put together people can
Oh,
have those same feelings based on their previous experiences.
yes, totally.
So
Totally.
so so this mission to help over 1 million people,
Hmm.
how's that going?
Mm. I'm gonna say something that maybe some people can relate to. And it's honestly, I need to really dive in. That's how we met. That's how Steve and I met. Was Steve was gonna speak and tell his story. Um, I set it aside super briefly, and I'm ready to pick it back up. And I do, if it's okay, I do want to speak into this because there can be maybe this is meaningful for somebody, and that's in the entrepreneurial space, if you will. I believe that we can be in business, we can be in ministry, or we can be in businessry. You with me? I know
Hmm.
you are. So
Hmm.
if you all are following, and I needed to shore up, I'm just gonna be honest, in income. I needed to shore up in income. Sometimes I know God knows that we need to eat. And so I worked on a business aspect. I set it aside temporarily to work on a business aspect, and I'm totally ready to ramp up and have quarterly events where people can be doing this and speaking to tell their story. And actually, that whole thing is becoming almost way more like that part will be more ministry, allowing because I'll have the business to back it up. And you know what? I like that even better. I like that even better. I think if we have a calling, sometimes it's important that we stay with people that can love us in our calling, support us in our calling, call us out in our calling, encourage us in our calling, because left to our own devices, I mean, personally, I'll go all over the place. Yeah.
You're involved in so much, and I
Mhm.
mean that in an encouraging way.
Mhm.
You're obviously very supportive of your husband when you're a pastor's wife. It's not just a title. You're very involved in people's lives. You're sharing the thrills with them from marriages to
Mhm.
childbirth to just incredible things, but the baptisms, the lowest of lows, death
Yeah.
of family members,
Yeah.
breakups, divorce. I
Yeah.
mean, and then you're so involved with your personal ministry to help people overcome shame. You're helping people find their voice and speak more, and how to find different events for them to speak more. Let's slow down for a second.
Okay.
Let
Mm.
let's say, let's say let's say Terry is on a mission trip by himself somewhere,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and you have tomorrow
Mm.
all to yourself.
Mhm.
What would that day look like if you got to pick the day from
Mm.
everything from you could be anywhere in the world
Oh.
except for now you can't be with him tomorrow because he's on his mission
Mhm.
trip.
Yeah.
To what you would have for breakfast, to how many
Oh.
clients would you see, what would you do for yourself? What would that look like tomorrow?
Do I get a bonus day too?
You know, we you can have two. I was going to give you
Oh, you're
I
so
can give you a
sweet.
whole week,
Okay, no, no.
but just one day.
Ah, some people wouldn't think it's very glamorous. It'd be nice to be like at a cabin where it's a great atmosphere, but I'm gonna tell you what, I would be getting my message out. Even right now, we're getting this message out.
Mm,
We're letting people hear about this and they're able to identify with we don't identify that we have shame. We might know we don't feel good enough, but it would be finding ways, whether it's lives, reels, maybe speaking at a summit, maybe speaking in person, right? But it would be making sure that I am doing what I need to do with that from the moment I knew um, that I was ready to tell. And I don't always, truth be told, I don't always steward it the way I should. But you know what? That would honestly be it. That would honestly be it. And then maybe time with my granddaughters in the evening. hmm And then if I got a bonus day, it would take more than a day. I've been to India 5 times, and that was mission. Terry's not been, so those are separate missions. He can be on his own. But oh my gosh, yeah, I would love to go back. And the people are so beautiful, so beautiful. So a lot of
Wow.
them have nothing, and but yet they have everything. Mm.
That, yeah, that speaks a lot, right? How entitled we can be here in
Oh,
North America.
yeah.
Mm.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
What's next for Bree and Boss?
Ah, so Bree, we're going to start to have quarterly summits, and we will have person event for sure in Dallas. And I believe that we can do so much online. We can do so much online. There is a really a true ministry component of what I'm up to. And you've done one, I think. It's called the Bold Bible Minute, and it's where people can share your favorite Bible verse and why in 3 minutes or less. And I'm really ready to amp up that being easily click, 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 upload my video and start to get testimonies from all over the world, all over the world. I want everyone has an iPhone, right? We know they do. And it doesn't matter where they are, but the poorest of the poor, educated or not, the people have that message to share. I want them to have a way to be able to upload their message so that we can share the goodness of what God has done in our life with people all over the world. So that's what's up there. And then BOS School, the Business of Speaking School, we have cohorts starting several times a year where we're bringing you in and really teaching you the business of speaking. And some of you might be in ministry and be like, well, it's not a business for me, but you know what, Steve, we need to be intentional about our ministry and in some cases run it like a business. And so
Mhm.
so we're super excited to work with, I don't want to say anybody because that's wrong. That's not the way to do it, but any business can grow their business through speaking. Realtor, accountant, coach, I don't care. I don't care who you are. If you're someone who wants to use it, awesome. And we do love to work with faith-driven people for sure. Yeah.
You're doing amazing things. I usually wait till the very end to say this, but I feel the
Mm,
Spirit
mm,
prompting me to say it now.
mm.
You exemplify our subtitle in our group. Your story's not over yet.
Oh.
You think
Mm-hmm.
back to that
Mm-hmm.
24-year-old
Mm-hmm.
young girl still,
Mm-hmm.
maybe an adult in age, right? But
Yeah, but still.
had a lot of life to learn.
Yeah.
God wasn't done with you.
No.
And you might have been done with him temporarily, but he
Mm,
never took his hands off you. He
never.
never quit drawing you to his heart.
Never.
And we all go through those seasons or know of people going through seasons. You know, you and I have had some talks off air,
Yeah.
and we have to trust that God knows them best and he's got a plan and he's not done with their story yet either. But it's remarkable how he turned your story around and how you're giving back. And
Mm,
I think those are the most powerful stories because when we hit a true rock bottom, oh my gosh, I know I hit mine
mhm.
at 34. Um, we truly are grateful
Yes.
and
Yes.
grateful hearts,
Yes.
specifically grateful for what only God can do. You can't put that fire out. That's a changed life that will never be perfect, but will
Yeah.
be
No. Yeah.
zealous for him
Yeah.
for the rest of their journey. And you've done that. I want you to tell folks where they can learn more
Mm,
about you and all the great work that you're doing.
I think at this point today, we are meeting through a group on Facebook, and I just like to invite people to find me there. Come and connect with me. I am all sharing things from my life and sharing some of the things that are going on. And it's spelled just like Terilee Harrison, like right here on the screen, and like is in the post. And yeah, I'd love to connect with you. And you can say, hey, met you through Steve, met you through your Worthy Network. And I would love to meet you all. And Steve, if it's all right, I do want to say that if you are intrigued and say, oh my gosh, I would love to talk to you about doing a BRI talk. I hope it's okay, Steve. I would love to meet y'all. I would love to meet you all. We'll be having an event shortly. There's no cost to participate in that, and we'd just love to feature your testimonies. Yeah.
Reach out to Terilee. I had a wonderful. Oh, we lost you for a second. Can you hear me? Okay.
I'm good now. I lost you too.
Okay. Okay. It might have been me. I had an incredible experience with Terilee doing the Bowl. Is it Bowl Bible Minute, right?
Yes, yes.
It's awesome. It's a great community. Like she said, it's free. It's an incredible community. So I definitely want to encourage you guys to do that. Reach out to Terilee on Facebook. We'll have that link in the show notes after we're done here. You know, Terilee, I want to say to you, and just for you guys to have a little context, Terilee and I met, I don't know, maybe 18 months ago,
Close.
maybe 2 years, somewhere in there. And I've been on some Zooms with her and 3 or 4 people. I've been on some Zooms with her with 15, 20 people. I've been on some one-on-one Zooms with her. And I would say in totality, we've probably Zoomed together, I'm guessing 8, 10 times, somewhere in there. And always impressed with her servant's heart, with her patience, desire to give back. But she shared some things today I did not know. I'm learning them with you. And Terry, I just want to tell you thank you for your vulnerability.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you for your authenticity and your servant's heart for God and his people.
Mm.
You are making a huge impact. And I tell people all the time, we don't get to control the date of birth, we don't get to control the date of death, but
Yeah.
the dash, you are doing a lot with your dash. Thank you for making a difference.
No, thank you so much. Is it all right if I share the greatest lesson of my life?
Sure.
If I could take it down to one sentence, it's the greatest gift you can give yourself is to allow others to love you for who you really are.
I got to write that down. Let others love you for
For
who
who
you.
you really are. We just don't give them a chance, Steve.
Yeah, that's so true. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
No, my blessing, really. Thank you for having me.
You've been awesome. Guys, I hope you've been reminded again through Terry Lee's journey, not easy at all. Still not easy. But you're talking about over 20 years of really, really tough times. And there's been some since then too. You know, Jesus, we tend to say we like all of Jesus's promises, but when I say that to a group and they're like, "Oh yeah, yeah," and I said, "What about the one where he says you will have trouble?" Oh no, but it doesn't negate that it's still true. Now, the good news about that particular promise, even though it stings a little bit, is he does remind us to take heart that he's overcome the world. In layman's terms, we're going to have stuff come at us, but he's going to walk through it with us. He walked through it with Terry Lee, and he's walking through it with you. He's walking through it with me, and our story's not over yet. Hang in there a little longer. And let me say this to the strivers or to the perfectionists or anybody simply thinking their worth comes from achieving something, working
Mm,
harder for something. Or you may be tempted to say, I'm praying for this and I'll be worthy when God responds.
mm.
No, you're worthy right now. You're worthy today, whether those things come true or not. I hope they do. I hope they come true for you. But you're still worthy today, even as you wait. Be encouraged by that. Be encouraged by Terilee's story. Be encouraged that you were given one more day as a blessing and say thank you. Appreciate each one of you. Till next time, God bless.